6 years ago, I was broke, working 12 hours a day, commuting 3 hours to work in a car every day. I was miserable, and I knew that there was way more out of life than I was getting. And then I found freelance copywriting. And within 6 weeks, I landed my first client. 3 months, I quit my job. Within 7 months, I landed my first $5,000 a month. And month 12, I got $9,000 a month. Fast forward 6 years later now, and I have made over $550,000 in personal profit from copywriting. I have retired my wife, traveled and lived in 4 countries: Canada, Australia, Vietnam, Thailand. I wake up and go to sleep when I want. I work when I want. I'm my own boss. And I get it all done in 4 hours a day. So, what exactly does a freelance copywriter do in this job? So I'm going to explain that in this video. I'm going to do this as quick as possible. I'm going to try to keep this to 5 minutes and just break it down for you. So first things first, what the heck's copywriting? So copywriting is not writing. Copywriting is persuasive writing. It is sales in the written form. A copywriter is closer to a salesman than he is an author. So if a salesperson's job is to sell something face to face, like knocking on doors and selling a vacuum, like in the olden days, or somebody selling real estate face to face verbally, a copywriter's job is similar, except instead of doing it face to face and verbally, you're doing it one to the masses and behind a laptop, writing an email to hundreds of thousands of people, or writing an ad that's going to be shown to a million people, or whatever, but it's for the same purpose: to make a sale, to generate revenue. So the reason copywriters can make 6 figures, 7 figures or more is because your work directly impacts how much money business owners will make. So if you write the right things for a business owner, you can make them a lot of money. And guess what happens when you make someone else a lot of money? You get a piece of that pie too. That's why copywriters can make so much money. That's why I built my business up to 6 figures per year within 1 year. Now, I'm not going to go tell you that I'm some millionaire copywriter who has a Lambo and a Rolex and all these things. That's not me. I don't make $100,000 a month doing this. I make 6 figures, and I'm really happy with my income because it's allowed me to do everything I want in life. And the best part for me is I can do this in 4 hours a day. And so the question is, what do I actually do? So I'm just going to give you a little glimpse into my day in the life of how this works. So I wake up early in the morning, 5, 6 a.m. I like to wake up early, and I will grab a cup of coffee, read the Bible. I'll go work out, have breakfast with my wife and my 2 young daughters, chill with them for a little bit, and then I will hop on over to my office here. I just live in a log home in the woods, and first thing I'll usually do is just open up emails from clients. So I will work as a contractor, a freelance contractor for businesses. So I will partner with businesses, and they will pay me on a retainer basis. So this means I will say, hey, business owner, do you want to make more money? And they'll say, sure, I like making money. And I'll say, sweet, here's what I can do for you. I will write this many blog posts or this many emails for you every month. And here's the price. Here's how much you have to pay me. And they'll say, cool, sounds good. So that's what I'll do. I will write this much stuff for you, or complete this many projects for you for this much money every single month. So every month I get paid the same amount, or roughly, from each client. And so all I need is 3 to 5 clients, and I'm making 6 figures per year. Pretty simple setup. So I'm not spending all my days outreaching. When you're first starting, it's totally fine. Go for the one-off projects, get whatever you can to get a name and to build up proof and trust and results and case studies to be able to land those high ticket clients later and retainers. But that's what I do. So I'll work with the same 3 to 5 clients every single month for long periods of time. And so what I'll do is, first thing, I'll respond to emails. Hey, how's this project coming? Hey, here's what's the next brief, those kinds of things. Once I've done that, that's 5, 10, 15 minutes. Then I'll go into write the stuff. Typically what I'm doing is writing 1 email or 1 blog post per day in 3 to 4 hours, and that's my day. And so for blog posts, I'm typically doing them in 3 to 4 hours, making $300 to $400 per blog post. If I do 1 per day, which is kind of an average, you can do the math, that's about 12 grand a month. But I write blog posts for companies, and I also write emails. Blog posts, that's more content, I get it. Emails, that's much more direct response copy. And so I'll typically work with people on a basis of, I'll do this much email copywriting or email marketing for you for $3,000 a month, $6,000 a month, $8,000 a month packages, depending on how much help they want. And so it kind of ranges for what my clients are, but typically I'm just writing one email or one blog post a day and done by 12 p.m. And how will I actually know what stuff to write? Well, for my blog post work, we'll typically work in a project management software like Asana or Monday with my client, and they'll say, hey, we want to write a blog post on this idea. So one of my clients is Beehive. So this company here, it's an email software company, and I'll write blog posts in some of their lead magnets. So they'll say, hey, we want to write a blog post about, how do you start an email newsletter? And I'll be like, cool, here's the project. And I'll take that idea, go into Google Docs, and they'll say, we want roughly 1,000 to 3,000 words. And then I'll go to town. And I'll go into a Google Doc and I'll write out step-by-steps. I'll research in Google. I'll use my own knowledge from my expertise that I have just to write what kind of information from an expert point of view of what to do. And I'll write that piece in Google Docs in a few hours, send it back to them in the project management software. They'll either approve it or ask for some minor edits sometimes, send it back to me a couple days later for some quick edits, and then that's done. And then I'll get paid for that at the end of the month. All the work that I do, like I said, a retainer basis. So every month they just pay me X amount of dollars. Think of it like it's kind of like being an employee, except instead of having one boss or one source of income, you got like 3 to 5. So you have a lot more leverage, a lot more freedom and flexibility. And I'm not clocking into work like, oh, I started work at this amount of time. Like I can just do the work whenever I want. If I don't want to write the blog post today, I could write it in 4 days from now. There's a ton of freedom and flexibility. So same thing with the email side of things. But instead of the email side of things where they're sending me a brief where it's like, hey, write about this, this, or this, I'm more directing what we're writing in those emails. I'm more leading the charge of what kind of stuff we're going to write. And so with this stuff, I'll come up with those ideas. So maybe one, we'll just say for argument's sake, the simplest way I've worked with somebody with email copywriting is, hey, I will write 1 email per week for you for this much money per month. So 4 emails per month. So then I'll be the one to come up with what those emails are. Maybe email number 1 of the month is going to be like, oh, let's go on to the founder's backstory of how they started this company. We'll just say it's a beard grooming company or something. They sell beard products. That's not a client. I'm just making this up right now because I'm looking like, oh, I need to buzz my beard. Maybe we talk about how they started the company and how they were like one day shaved and their wife or girlfriend was like, oh, you look scary, like put the beard back on. And they're like, oh, wow. And they got into beards. And next thing you know, their thing called Product Suck. So they created their own. Maybe we'll go into that backstory and talk about that story in the email, and I'll write that. And where will I get the ideas for that? I will look at their content. I'll look at their social media. I'll look at their blog posts. I'll look at emails they've already done to find those stories. I will look at competitors, see what kind of emails they come up with, stuff like that. And I will hop on calls with the client if necessary and try to get those stories from them to have in my back pocket to come up with an email. And maybe I'll write that email and say, here's how it started, XYZ, boom, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, here's some products, click. Maybe email number 2 for the month is like 3 tips to care for your beard during the winter or something. And it's like, keep moisturized, do this and this and this, like practical, helpful tips with like, hey, want even more help? Here's some of our stuff. Maybe email number 3 for the month is going to be like a promo, like, hey, we're going to do a free shipping weekend, XYZ, boom, boom, boom. So I will typically self-direct what kind of stuff I'm writing. How do you know what kind of emails to come up with as an email copywriter? Swipe files. Go look at other successful businesses and what they're doing with their emails. Look at swipe files of great pieces of copy and come up with some ideas like that and lead the way. Typically what works really well is storytelling, practical tips, and straight up sales and offers emails, and doing a combination of those throughout. And so that's what I'll do. And then I'll send that over for a Google Doc link, or in some cases, I will actually put those emails into the email software itself. So sometimes I'm the email copywriter and I'll just write in a Google Doc and give it to them and they'll do the rest. Sometimes I'll be the email copywriter who also does the email marketing, and I'll manage their entire email list, grow their list, manage it, put it into the software, schedule those emails, A/B test, tracking and reporting, all the things. And I'll just do the whole shebang. It's a great idea if you want to make even more money to also learn how to do that. So it depends on what client I'm working with. To do the actual copy itself, I'll research, I'll go to Google, I'll look at swipe files, you know, all those things, and I'll deliver to them. Sometimes they ask for revisions, sometimes they don't. And, end of the month, here's the money, and they'll transfer it into my bank account or whatever. And it's great because this is the kind of thing where, I don't have to, drive to some job that I hate and, punch in for work at 8 a.m. and punch out for lunch and punch out. Dude, I can go to the bathroom whenever I want. I can eat snacks whenever I want. I can nap whenever I want. I can see my daughters, my wife whenever I want. Obviously, I'm still working. I'm not going to sit here and lie and be like, oh, it's just like writing for 5 minutes a day and then just go chill in my private jet. Like, it's not like that. I'm still working, and some days I'll work longer, and some days there'll be crunch time, and I'll work 8, 10, 12 hour plus if it's like Black Friday and we're like coming up with some big promo or we're sending tons of emails or something. Like, I'm going to work more. But then guess what? I also have the freedom and flexibility to be like, I'm ducking out for the 2, 3, 4 weeks to go on a holiday in Thailand or Vietnam or Mexico or whatever. So freelance copywriting is amazing. It's one of the coolest jobs, one of the coolest businesses you could ever have. And if you're looking to, make $5,000, $10,000 plus per month, do it from your laptop, and build this business up within like 6 to 12 months to get to that level, I couldn't recommend a better thing to start with. And especially if you're like comparing this to like university or college, where you have to fork over like $100,000 and wait 4 years. And then even then you're not guaranteed a really good income. It's like 30, 40, 50K to start for most entry-level jobs. This thing you can build up to 6 figures within a year, and you can do it with just a few $1,000s, or or if you're willing to, take a little bit longer, be more patient, you could learn all this for free. So there you have it. That's, the main things I can think of when it's like, what does a copywriter do? This is what I do. Those are the things I do. My first year when I started, I was working more. I was pitching, I was outreaching. That's another aspect of the things that you'll do when you're first starting that I don't do as much anymore because my business is built up. But, part of your day also looks like going and outreaching, landing clients, DMing people, offering free value, putting yourself out there, pitching people, sliding into DMs, getting people on calls, and landing those clients. So that's also a major part of this. So hope that was helpful. I will link to some more videos if you're interested in learning more about freelance copywriting and how you can make 6 figures per year in the next 12 months. So check out some more videos, and thank you so much for watching.